and they are completely isolated from this thing. And this is equal in an equivalent way.
And no jobs.
These are part of societies which are marginalized. I mean, they cannot have basic rights.
But are you focusing on any particular kind of inequalities here, or?
I mean, they face inequalities in all levels. From from family itself, in the family structure itself. If the family gets to know that, they are treated differently, they are respected differently. From there, between friends, in education, in their rights, in their basic rights, they don't have the same rights as the usual citizen. In the opportunity, they don't get the opportunity to get jobs. So the inequality automatically percolates into all fields. Especially in their case, it's quite extreme. This case is quite extreme. That's what I was.
In their case means in gender.
In the extreme minority, the third gender.
Third gender.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So.
Especially in
Yeah.
India.
So. Yeah.
Especially in country like India.
Yeah. So yeah, not only here but elsewhere as well. So we can talk about that. So maybe we can quickly say the terminologies so that then we can.
So we are talking about inequalities in academia and everything, right?
Anything.
So one particular thing is, which has all which I would like to bring out is like discrimination on the basis of individuality, like. If someone is different from a group, the group has this natural tendency to outcast, and that is very commonly seen in starting from everywhere, like in colleges, for example. If someone thinks differently and doesn't want to conform to a peer group, you see the kind of pressure that they have. That kind of inequality is something I would like to be discussed upon, like someone who asks a lot of questions, he might be bullied by the rest of his friends.
But this can be also
colleges. That because he doesn't conform to their way of, the normal.
But that is possibly the another answer, that possibly inequality matter in academia, because those are the people who goes to academia mostly.
Mostly
people you ask.
But I mean,
innumerous amount of
suffering
questions.
and inequality is not a fun thing.
Yeah, it's not. Suffering is not a fun thing, but those are important people.
This inequality is it's not at all a very clear, drawn out line, but we face this everywhere in and out. It's starting from everywhere, like even in higher academics also, when you have research groups and
this is common. A lot of questions, people say that
someone wants to do something differently, the rest of the group will not want to conform to that person because they don't have the why and all that.
We come back to that point, but we understand the point. I clearly resonate with you over there. So
in the form of education.
It doesn't matter. So it can be social inequalities which affects academic.
One guy has a higher position.
Okay.
PhD.
Yeah. Okay.
So
academic
hierarchy.
Higher education.
Not academic. Is it academic hierarchy or academic abilities?
No, he's correct.
Because is it like particular subject, which is more important than the other subject?
He's talking about like a
higher degree.
Higher degree.
A farmer and somebody who has
a degree. Okay. So academic degree wise, who is educated, who is more educated. Okay, highly educated. This kind of okay.
There are several government policies and services that are given to according to our income.
Okay. So financial background.
Financial background. Okay. So there are several people who have 10 lakhs per month, and does not have he does not have a government job, but in business or anything like that. So and there is another guy which have a government job but paying very lower.
Yeah.
So the guy who does not have any job in that document
Yeah.
will get the benefits, but who actually deserve it will not get that
Okay.
benefit from government.
Yeah, so I think you have mentioned that also, similar one, so that we can put Sandeep and Sukanya's point in the same category possibly, right?
Economic condition
Yeah,
or
yeah.
power based.
Anupam?
So basically
Same.
the Sandeep's point,
Yeah.
there are even in exams there are cutoff for different categories.
Yeah.
Yeah, same inequality is there.
Cutoffs, yeah.
I also still doubt that some people really deserve those.
Mhm.
There are people who deserving actually.
Mhm.
I doubt some people, some part of people really
So
deserve.
you're talking about
That was
scheduled.
actually meant so that some certain people should not be neglected. For
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
it was meant.
Yeah, for the
But
scheduled,
probably it was
scheduled
not used
Yeah.
properly.
caste and scheduled tribe, that kind of thing you're talking about. Yeah.
Same points I also have like discrimination in the name of the institutes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So again the same
Yeah,
kind.
yeah.
Who got premium education? Royal education.
Yeah.
And also again it goes to socio-economic background.
Whether it's a Doom school or whether it's Stephens, so it matters.
It matters. And
We have a Stephen in Sydney.
and inequality in the name of religion.
I think it's a very important combination, right? Doom and Stephen, right? So
And I wouldn't have been probably sitting here, right?
Shouldn't complain.
you should not complain that. Okay.
No, I'm saying.
I was about to mention these things,
Okay.
but I thought of thinking. Now I got something else anyway. Inequality in working environment based on maybe a little bit hierarchy and all.
What kind of
What
kind of
hierarchy?
hierarchy?
It's not hierarchy. It's like in working environment, the lower division.
So degree
oriented.
Hierarchy. So it's in my point.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. Sam?
Yeah, so I would like to analyze this actually. So you all have said that there are many inequalities, but where does this actually originate from? But like
The main point is what kind of inequality. We are talking about different kinds of inequality.
I'm coming
Just
to
wanted
it.
to-
Yeah, I'm coming to it. Yeah, it's like by accident of birth we are born in different families, and from the beginning when a child is born, he's being discriminated whether he's black or white. That's the first primary discrimination that primary social inequality we face.
I'm surprised that
Black
nobody
or
has
white or boy or girl?
Yeah.
Boy or girl, that's
That's the first thing and then
and
black.
whether he's born into a rich family or poor family
Oh, yes.
or an average family is the either one inequality which we first itself put on him. That's one of the things. And then when that boy or girl, maybe in that particular child, when he grows into the puberty stage, and he tries to find out who is himself or herself. In that particular situation too, he faces many discrimination. Suppose if I have come across different friends of mine who have they have the male physical structure, but they actually have a feminine behavior, and actually those guys are being bullied by others. So that is another one major inequality which we can see in the institutions.
So what he is referring to his
So actually
sexual
Tathagat-
orientation.
Yes, Tathagat also said like if you.
No, Tathagat's point is different. I will
But
summarize
if
this.
it is
My
different then.
individuality, like.
Yes.
No,
So
I-
that also
no.
right?
But Bharat
This is intellectual individuality he is talking about. He's
Okay.
he's
But
talking
Bharat
about
I'm
sexual.
talking about acquired individuality. He is like
Okay, born
natural
Yeah.
individuality.
So he's talking about sexual
here
orientation.
comes character and
Acquired individuality.
No, Balu talked about gender. Gender and sexual orientations are.
But that's also born.
No, these are very controversial topic we are going to.
And it's not
And
a
gender.
No, it can be okay. So you can be male born male, but it's not necessary that your sexual orientation
No, but
should
that,
be sexual.
the fact that you have a different sexual orientation, that's also decided when you're born. It's not you grow up in.
Yeah, but
So it's,
but
it's,
these are
it's from your birth.
Yeah, but your point was gender inequality, and in this
I mean, extreme minority in gender inequality.
inequality, and
So
this
her point
one
was
is
gender
sexual
equality.
orientation based inequalities. So we can categorize this. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah.
So you understand my point?
But both are extreme minorities, which are like.
Well, I don't think sexual orientation is minorities because it's
Oh, it is.
it's just hidden. That's all. So
No, but these are minorities still. Like if you take the percentage.
yeah, the minorities in percentage wise.
Because maybe
real
it's still
percentage.
not, maybe
Is it real
because it's
percentage?
still not very
Is
well.
it official percentage you're talking about, or
And the
or
lowest
acceptance wise?
Acceptance both ways. In this case, both it's minority, right?
Yeah. Okay.
And even low surpassed in recent years.
Yeah. So, but I would like to mention that in my opinion, minority should not be defined in such a way that is defined by the government's number, right?
It's not anymore defined by the numbers.
So, but how are we defining minority? So,
So-
that's also another question.
But in most of the cases, the number and the socially whether how it's
How it accepted.
both coincide in most of the cases. So, for example, minorities in India, they are pushed to the side, saying because of their number and their social traditions.
Yeah.
So, and in sexual orientation as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, maybe one reason why it's still a minority is because this is not well accepted, and hence not a lot of people comes out of their boundaries to establish themselves. So
Yeah.
we don't count them, right? I mean,
Exactly.
we don't have any platform.
That's what I
Platform
said.
to count. Platform to count.
That's what I said. Hidden.
Yeah,
So-
hidden.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think we have talked about several important inequalities, but we haven't covered all of them. So, I mean, maybe I can just briefly mention some of them, and then we can add some of them. You can add some of them, and then Nomita can also mention some.
I was thinking, I didn't get it. We just,
Okay, so I think definitely religious inequalities is a fact. Ethnic inequality is another big fact. We are only talking about